Tonight, we're hearing firsthand from nurses who experienced the COVID-19 pandemic.
Tonight, Representative Greg Bush and the Missouri Nurses Association met to talk about what it was like working in public health at the time. The discussion comes as vaccine regulations change across the country. ABC 17's Nia Hinson joins us live in studio tonight. Nia, some local healthcare providers are now complying with those new guidelines.
Erica and Megan, one of those is MU Healthcare, who tells me people will now have to be 65 or older or have an underlying health condition to get a COVID shot at their vaccine events. I asked Bush his thoughts on these changes and heard about what challenges nurses faced during the pandemic and what their takeaways have been since.
We needed all hands on deck.
More than 5 years later, and the COVID-19 pandemic still weighs heavily on nurses.
It really came to a head first in Italy. I remember a physician telling me, he said, if one of those people has COVID, it's going to be all over the United States.
You didn't have enough staff and you had patients everywhere, it felt like.
A group of nurses from mid-Missouri coming together tonight to talk about their experiences. Some working in the ICU.
I think I got really good at compartmentalizing it all to a point where I maybe was internalizing a little bit too much.
Others, like Representative Greg Bush.
There are people that missed their dialysis. There's people that came in with DKA. All of that is still going on.
One of the toughest things they went through at the time was misinformation.
But at some point you kind of have to just shut it off because it just kind of kept spiraling of who do you believe.
Their discussion comes as federal regulations for the COVID-19 vaccine change in the country. MU Healthcare has vaccination events in mid-Missouri over the next month. A spokesman says you'll now have to be 65 or older or prove you have a health condition before you can roll up your sleeve at those events. If you don't, you'll now have to go to a doctor beforehand.
I know for a fact that there was a before vaccine and after vaccine. And I know that there were people who would not be alive today if there were not access to vaccines.
You can find a list of MU Healthcare's events on our website. Now, I also asked Boone Health if they're following these new guidelines. The spokesman tells me they've been, quote, following the news.
All right, thank you, Nia. Robert F. Kennedy's new vaccine committee will meet later this week. They're expected to vote on whether to change recommendations on COVID shots.